In 1972, West Germany wanted the world to forget its dark history. The Munich Olympics were designed to be the cheerful games, featuring open gates, a relaxed atmosphere, and an intentionally light security footprint. That peace shattered at 4:10 in the morning on September 5th. 8 Palestinian militants from the Black September group scaled a low chain-link fence, infiltrated the Olympic Village, and took members of the Israeli athletic team hostage. The crisis culminated in a botched rescue attempt by German police at a nearby airfield. Outgunned and poorly positioned, the authorities lost control of the situation. By the end of a 2-hour firefight, all 11 Israeli hostages were dead. The grief in Israel was followed by a sharp political betrayal. Just 54 days later, the West German government released the 3 surviving Munich attackers following a highly suspicious airplane hijacking, flying them safely to Libya to cheering crowds. With international legal systems stalled and the killers walking free, the Israeli government decided that if the world wouldn't provide a trial, they would provide the verdict. Unilateral retribution became the only remaining option. Behind closed doors in Tel Aviv, Prime Minister Golda Meir authorized a secret campaign. There would be no public records, no legal debates, and no extradition requests. She formed a classified group known as Committee X. Their sole mandate was to compile a list of every single person connected to the Munich massacre and have Mossad intelligence operatives eliminate them one by one. For 7 years, Mossad moved through Europe and the Middle East, establishing a reputation for reaching targets across any border. But as the files on these operations became public, the actual identity of those on the list began to tell a different story. The core question remains whether Mossad actually dismantled the leadership of Black September, or if they focused their resources on targets whose public lives made them the most vulnerable to an attack. In the months following the massacre, Mossad agents moved quietly across Europe. A target in Rome was shot in his apartment lobby. In Paris, an operative placed an explosive device inside a rotary telephone, detonating it remotely when the target answered to confirm his identity. These early operations were clinically effective, but the victims shared a distinct profile. They were largely translators, intellectuals, and public representatives of the PLO, men operating openly in European capitals. The actual operational leaders weren't sitting in Parisian cafes. They were living in heavily fortified apartment buildings surrounded by armed guards in Beirut, the capital of Palestinian resistance. Reaching them required a high-risk maritime raid. In April 1973, elite Israeli commandos landed on a Lebanese beach. Disguised in wigs and dresses, they walked arm in arm past sleeping guards, breached 3 separate apartments, and killed 3 top PLO commanders in under 30 minutes. That raid in the heart of Beirut convinced the world that nowhere was safe from Israel's reach. It established a psychological deterrent that defined Mossad for a generation. The reputation for precision collapsed in Lillehammer, Norway. Mossad operatives tracked down the man they believed was a primary mastermind and gunned down in the street. But he was actually an innocent Moroccan waiter walking home from the movies with his pregnant wife. This mistake led to the arrest of several agents and exposed Israel's European network. Meanwhile, the real target, Ali Hassan Salameh, known as the Red Prince, remained entirely free. Salameh was nearly impossible to hit because he had a powerful protector. He was serving as a secret back-channel contact for the CIA, providing intelligence in exchange for warnings about Israeli assassination attempts. To bypass American protection, Mossad spent years mapping Salameh's life. One agent befriended him at his gym, while another rented an apartment overlooking his daily driving route, posing as a British painter. In January 1979, as Salameh's convoy drove past the painter's balcony, she triggered a massive explosive packed inside a parked car. Salameh was killed, but the blast also claimed the lives of 4 innocent bystanders who happened to be on the street. The death of the Red Prince closed the main chapter of Israel's retribution campaign. It was a messy, brutal conclusion that required sacrificing civilian lives to reach a target shielded by an allied superpower. Decades of investigation suggest a startling conclusion. Of all those assassinated, only one man had a verified direct connection to the Munich massacre. The evidence indicates the others were targeted because they were exposed, convenient targets for a campaign that needed to show results. Meanwhile, the man who actually conceived the Munich operation, who recruited the team and planned every detail, Abu Daoud, escaped the list entirely. Daoud lived publicly in the Middle East, publishing a memoir detailing his role in Munich. He eventually died of old age in a hospital bed in 2010, surrounded by his family. Leaving the masterminds to die in peace while a 7-year campaign of retribution claimed the lives of minor figures and innocent bystanders suggests that Operation Wrath of God may have generated more casualties than it did actual justice.